Your ego is not your enemy. Have you ever been told that your ego was too large, or maybe that it even wasn't enough? Ego is often talked about a negative context more so than a positive one, and it is misunderstood by many people, so let's define it. Here's the Google definition. Ego is a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance, meaning the measure of somebody's abilities and the over-exaggeration of the beliefs in those categories. Yet many philosophers, theologists, and even psychologists have differing definitions of ego, often not directed in negativity. To start out here, let's talk about the dark night of psychology, Sigmund Freud, who has a plethora of controversial opinions but still helped move psychology forward, and that cannot be denied. He believed that there was 3 parts to something called the psychic apparatus, a system of thinking that Freud used in his psychological analysis with patients. The 3 parts being as follows. The first part being the ID, or the Das Es, meaning the it. These being your instinctual needs, full of desires and impulses. Part 2 is the ego, or the Das Ich, meaning the I, acting as a sort of middleman between your ID and external reality. The third, the super ego, or the Über Ich, over I. This is the part of your brain that has social norms influenced by your parents and your environment. Considering this, in Freud's explanation, would the entire ego be at fault here, or would it be a certain section of the ego? And if so, which section would it be? If you guess the superego, you are right. It would not be the entire ego that's the problem, but rather the part that is in charge of social norms and your perception on those social norms that would be at fault. Meaning the ego is not bad, your perception on it is. Now, Freud is all over the place, we know that. Let's look at a theological perspective. I just spent 5 minutes trying to be able to pronounce this text, and I can't do it. So I'm going to put it right here, and that's as good as it's going to get. Now, this is a foundational philosophical and religious text from the Hindu religion dating all the way back to around 7th or 6th century BCE, roughly. In chapter 1, it's stated in the beginning that the self existed alone. When it said, I am he, it associated itself with a living being, thus becoming jiva, or your ego. The I am portion of this statement represents the Atman, or your true self, while he represents the ego, making a clear distinction between the two, implying that the ego is limited, mortal, and based within ignorance, while the true self is unchanging, self-existing, and is always going to be. In this text and in many other Hindu texts, dissolving the ego is a must-need for achieving your true self. The result of this process is called the moksha, and is translated to roughly liberation. So what am I even getting at here? When somebody tells you to watch your ego, they are not talking about your ego in a literal sense. Your ego is needed, and it is very important to maintaining a sense of self within this world. Rather, they are pointing out your ignorance. Freud would call it an inflation of the superego, and a Hindu scholar would call it the jiva. So instead of toning down what you say or how you say it, try thinking from different perspectives. How could what I just said be considered ignorant? And apply it to the knowledge that you have on the person in front of you. I can almost assure you that you won't be reaching enlightenment in today's society, and it could even be argued that it has never been done before. So instead of listening to somebody when they give you this objection, instead try asking them, what makes you think that? And then use what they say to gain information about what stances you may have been ignorant in. This line of communication will not just give you knowledge and perspective, but it will also let the other person know that you are open to learning. Open to seeing things from different angles, that you're confident in your stances, but you are still willing to learn about the world. The representation of ego in your life does not have to be the same as everybody else's. But that's the beauty of being able to speak, is that we can learn about more. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know I'm a smaller creator on here. If you guys can maybe leave a like, a sub, I'd appreciate it. If you like these kind of videos, leave a comment down below. Give me topics to make more videos on. And yeah, I appreciate it. Have a good one.